Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface, and how would you like to get a funky little mount like mine, have a very nice sexy tabard like mine, and also get exalted with a faction in Mr. Pandaria, all for less than an hour of your time? Yeah, I thought so. Well, this is how you do it. The Lorewalkers are a faction unlike anything we've ever seen in the Mr. Pandaria. You don't do daily quests to grind rep for them. What you do is you actually explore Pandaria and find scrolls that are scattered all over the place. Now, when you find the right scrolls to complete a set, you get one of these achievements here, which grants you about 2,300 rep, but also you get a nice little present in your mail from Lorewalker Cho, and it's the combined set in one scroll. You then hand that scroll into him, you gain yourself another 3,200 odd rep, and Lorewalker Cho decides to tell you a nice little story about whatever that achievement is about. So where does it all start? Well, it starts here in the Moonwalker Retreat, and this is what you're looking for, these big scrolls here, and this one is called Water Smithing. Just right click on it and you will get part of the achievement. You now have achievement progress in Mr. Pandaria. So if you've done something that contributes towards an achievement but doesn't complete the achievement, you get a slightly smaller bar and it has achievement progress above it. Now if you follow my exact directions, you will be able to do this really quickly. And the scrolls are scattered all over the place. They're in no particular order. This one that we're going to find here is called the Empress Burden Part 3. There's actually 8 parts to this. So after we've got this little one, you need to divert slightly to the west, and then we're heading over to a place called Windward Isle. Now I said a couple of days ago you need to be level 90, and I don't think technically you do, but if you're to hand the scrolls in to Lorewalker Cho, then you have to be able to fly. So you either need somebody to take you up there, or you need to be level 90 yourself. But a lot of the areas that you actually go in are occupied by lots of level 90 characters, so it's not advised that you do this until you get yourself a lot more powerful. But if you're level 90 and breeze through this in what, 40 minutes tops probably, then you can get yourself some really cool rewards. So after we've left the Windward Isle, we found that scroll called the Sarok, and now we're heading to Dawn's Blossom, which is the first joint quest hub for the Alliance and Horde. And if I can just get to the scroll, there we go, we found the Empress Burden Part 1. Now from Dawn's Blossom we're going to move ourselves over to Thunderpaw Refuge, and for people that are keen-eyed and been watching my videos, this is actually where one of the scenarios takes place. Think a brewing storm. There you go, right click on that and learn it. We then head in a northeasterly direction, and we're going to go to the Terrace of 10 Thunders now, and the scroll that's in there is called Spirit Binders. And there it is. Click on that, move on. And then if we just head west, we're going to go through the Horde starting base where they had that fantastic entry into Pandaria. There's Hellscream's Fist. And then we just veer slightly to the left, and we're going to come up very shortly to a Hosen Effigy, and that's got a scroll called Hosen's Speech. And there it is. So let's just recap on where all the scrolls are in this zone. Now the next scroll is in a place called the Ancient Passage, and more specifically the Secret Area, and the scroll that we're going to find in here is called the Defiant. What you do is just go in, hog the right hand side at all times, find the scroll, be very careful because there are some level 90s enemy, and then on the way out hug the right hand side again all the way round until you exit into Kun-Lai Summit. Now Kun-Lai Summit has got 9 scrolls, and the first one is in Inkgil Mare, and it's called Roll Call, and it's the middle of the 3 parts of that town. And then we just head north over the Yakwash. Whoa, whoa, whoa. To a place called Fire Camp Yonqui, where we're going to find the Yangoyle scroll. A nice little play on words there. And we're going to go now to the Temple of the White Tiger, which is possibly the nicest looking building in the whole of Pandaria. And here we find the Emperor's Burden Part 6. Now, the other scroll used to be under the terrace there, but they've moved it by the hot air balloon, which takes you to Zoichin village, and that was called Victory in Kun-Lai. And then if we just head straight up the cliff face, we're actually going to be going into our first indoor scroll. I'm prepared to do a little bit of fighting. You might be lucky enough to come across some people questing in here, so they'll be taking care of the ads for you. If not, you'll have to take care of them yourself. It's not particularly difficult. But in this place, be very, very careful indeed, because the Tomb of the Conquerors, or the Tomb of Conquerors, has got multiple traps on the floor. They might look pretty, but don't stand on them because they will set off some hideous traps. So the last dude's down, and there's the scroll right in front of us, Valley of the Emperors. So nick that, let's jump out. I think we've got one more mob to fight, and then we can make our way to the next place. Okay, so we're now heading towards the Shadowpan Monastery over Peak of Serenity, which is going to be a monk hub. You can go there from level 30 onwards. And it's at the most western point, or most eastern point, sorry, of the monastery, and that is the Emperor's Burden Part 7. And from there, we swing left and start to head east, and we're going halfway up Mount Neverest to Seeker's Point that has the Emperor's Burden Part 2. And then we're going now southeast, and we're heading towards the Duca Dome. 2 Ducas enter, 1 Duca leaves. And that has the Hosen Ravage. And then again, if we're following on the southeasterly path, we come across Fire Camp Ordo, and that has the scroll called Yangol Tactics. And they are the 9 in Kun-Lai Summit. So as we go on to Vale, let's recap. Now, Vale only has 4 scrolls, the first one being At Ruin's Rise, and it's called Together We Are Strong. From there, we're heading towards Mistfall Village, but going slightly beyond to the Silent Sanctuary, where we did some of that work for the Golden Lotus. And the one just outside the entrance is called the Thunder King. Literally just pop over the top and through Tushen Burial Ground, we find our third one, which is called Always Remember. Very apt. And the very final one here in Vale is just in front of Margushan Palace. Down there. It's going to spawn in a second. And that is the Emperor's Burden Part 8. So once more, let's just have a recap on the map of where they are. Valley of the Four Winds. And we're going to head down to Pangstead for Embracing the Passions. There it is on the side. And from there, we're going to head on to New Sifera. I think it's pronounced. A very strange name. And this is the village which has one of the Jinyan in it. And the scroll here is called Water Speakers. Nice fish. A hop, skip and a jump away is Half Hill. And Half Hill has one called A Most Famous Bill of Sale. It's a very long-winded one. And after that, I'm a bit parched, so we're going to head off to Stormstout Brewery. And this is the 4th of the 6. And this one has The Wandering Widow, which is very, very mysterious. Head further west, and we're going to come to the 5th, which is Stone Plough. And the scroll against his building is called The Birthplace of Lu Lang. And then the very final one is in the Pauquan Hollow, and it's called Pandaren Fighting Tactics. And again, around the back of the house. So let's refresh, value the 4 win. Next stop is Krasarang Wilds, and using the Storm Stout Brewery as a marker, we go down the Krasarang Falls and into the Riverblade Den for the first one here of 6, The Last Stand, and then literally jump into Forsong Village for Origins, which is the second. This then takes us on to Temple of the Red Crane, and in there we have another one of the Emperor's Burdens, and this one is going to be part 4. Once that's picked up, we then head to the ruins of Dojan, and more specifically the Pools of Youth, and that has a scroll called the Lost Dynasty, or if you prefer Dynasty, tomatoes. We then head towards the beach. We need to go quite far east on the beach for this one, and this is Turtle Beach, where we'll find the 5th and penultimate scroll, and it's called Waiting for the Turtle, where you're going to be waiting a long time because it appears to be made out of stone. And then the very final one, we're heading to the most eastern tip of Unga Ingu, where there's a little cave that's sneakily hiding away, and inside there's another Hosen scroll called Hosen Maturity, and when you pick that up, that will be the 6 in Krasarang Wilds. Should we do another one of those recap thingies? Yeah, I quite like the recap thingies. So now we find ourselves in the Dread Waste, and straight away we're jumping to Lake of Stars for the Deserters. That's the first of 5 scrolls here. The second one is technically in a place called Kaipari Zar. Just be careful, it's actually a graveyard. And the second one is called Mantid Society. The third one you have to be especially careful because it is surrounded by level 89 and 90 elite creatures as well as normal mobs. So if you slip, you could be in a lot of trouble. But this is in the clutches of Shakzia, which rolls off the tongue. And this is for Cycle of the Mantid. The next one's a lot easier to get. This is right by the Heart of Fear, on the northern side of it. And this one's called the Empress, the 4th. And the final one, if we head towards that big tree, not the one to the left, the one right in front of us, that's going to zone in a little bit more in a second. And use that orange as the marker where to go, because that's where the entrance is. And if you nip in here, you'll realise we've been here before, but you may have to do some scrapping. Yeah. But lucky old me, killed them for you. And if we get that one, it's called Amber. And then let's now do a nice little recap to see where they all are in this zone. Now the very final 3 are in Town Long Steps, and here I am at Nisao Temple at the back, and that's where we have the Emperor's Burden Part 5. We're then heading now to Fire Camp Ozzel, as you see on the map, and that has a scroll called Dominance. Now you'll find this scroll very close to where Sooner Silence Strike's husband was sadly found dead by us in one of my levelling up vids. So, poor little chappy. And here it is coming up now. Thank you very much. And I've left this one that we're going to now, which is in Hatred's Vice, and it's called Trapped in a Strange Land, till last, because there's a phasing issue problem with it at the moment. If you didn't pick this scroll up when you completed the quests here, it will phase out and you can't get it. You have to try and glitch to find this scroll. But since when's that ever stopped me? Yeah, I flew in from another angle and managed to snag it before it phased out there. And that is all of them. So now, go to your mailbox, pick out your scrolls. I've got them all apart from that one there. All you have to do is just find it in your inventory, right click onto the scroll, accept the quest, and then we're going to head over to Seat of Knowledge and hand them all in to Lorewalker Cho. And this will get you exalted in about 40 minutes. And he's going to start telling stories now, but I'm not going to show them to you. If you'd like to see all the scrolls and the stories, then do comment below and I'll think about putting it into a video for you. So I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment and subscribe. Take care everybody. Bye bye.